What's going on, y'all? This your boy General Africa. I'm gonna jump right into it. I know I'm gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings. There's gonna be a lot of people shitty about this video, but I don't care. I never have, I never will, because for so long, black people have been treated and perceived to be the world's punching bag for hundreds of years. Now, it's the same story, the same narrative, and it has continued till today. Well, up to today. I was watching Cenk Uygur from TYT, the Young Turks. It was an old, I guess you could say, debate, dialogue between him and Ann Coulter. And I don't, if you don't know who Ann Coulter is, she's basically, I don't know, I guess you could call her a pundit. I mean, she writes a lot of books on politics. She's a right winger. She's a bigot. She is. And she exaggerates a lot of things and says a lot of ridiculous things for attention, and it sells books. She's kind of like Trump. She says things for effect, and I disagree with 99.9% of the things she says. But one thing she did say, which was rang true, and I'll put the link in the description. She said that, and she was referring to immigrants, and I'll be the first to say, when it comes to the rights of immigrants in this country and their treatment, I am all for 100% for the civil rights of immigrants and other minority groups in this country. Just like pretty much all black people, we are constantly, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter not only, you know, defends the civil rights and the treatment of black people, but black people in general are constantly the most vocal group of people when it comes to the treatment of other minorities in this country. Mm. And if you don't know that, then you don't know black people. And I'm not going to argue with you because there's no point. Because when it comes to Mexicans, when it comes to Muslims, we might not relate to them in many ways, but we're constantly the loudest people who say, you know what, that's not right. That's not right how they're treating the essays. That's not right. That's not right how Trump is saying this and that about you know those low wage workers, or that's not right. Even if you know a black person can't understand Islam whatsoever, you'll hear black people say, you know what, that's not cool what Donald Trump and so many Republicans say and have said about Muslims and trying to, prevent them from immigrating to this country, and basically characterizing all of them as terrorists and so on and so forth. But anyway, back to the debate between Cenk Uygur and Ann Coulter. She said something that really rang true, and I wasn't going to speak on this. I've been saying that I would touch on this subject for a while now, but this was what I needed to hear. This was what I needed to see that finally got me up and motivated me to speak on this. She said that immigrants are constantly trying to piggyback off of the black experience. And she admitted it. She said, this country owes black people. We stole them from Africa, brought them here, and made them work for free. We actually owe black people something. She said, "You're not black. Stop trying to piggyback off of the black experience." And it's so true. Because I noticed something, and all black people, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that. I mean, besides the coons, black people, we know what's going on. We see it. We see people from different countries coming over here, and they might not admit it, but we notice it. Just like when we walk into a store, or you know, what have you, and we see, the clerk, the store clerks following us. We can feel the tension. We go into an elevator and we see, the white woman's clutching her purse, and when we're walking down the street. But these racists, bigots, constantly trying to portray us as paranoid. Oh, you're just paranoid. You're trying to play the victim role, and you're playing the race card. Okay. But it's funny how all these immigrant groups, not all, but a lot of them, they come over here to America, and they're already, as soon as they get off the gangplank, you know, they're criticizing us. They're telling us about ourselves, right? And that's not just Mexicans and a lot of other Hispanics. That's Indians. That's Chinese. That's Koreans and other Southeast Asians. That's also Africans and many more. Those are just some off the top of my head. But it's funny, I asked this Chinese guy once, because Chinese can be viciously racist, viciously. And he was a racist too. He was my brother's roommate. And, Chinese people like to play dumb a lot. So anyway, but we know how black people know how a lot of them feel about us. So I asked them, I was like, why is it that Asians, but particularly Chinese, they like to criticize white people, and criticize their culture, and say they have no, they have no culture, they don't have any class, and they're not very smart. Well, Asians talk shit, Chinese talk shit, Koreans talk shit. They like to talk shit. They do. So I asked them, so why do you guys tend to do that? But then when you come to America, you believe what those very same white people say about black people. You believe it to be true. And he did that whole, looking up in the sky. He didn't have an answer for me. And I knew he wouldn't. And that's why I asked him. Because I'm going to tell you about yourself. Because if you want to come over here and tell us about ourselves, think you can, when we built this country, I'm going to address you. I'm going to bring it to you, and you better come back correct. And, you see that with Mexicans too. You see what I'm saying? Racism is very, very, very pervasive in the Mexican community. That's not to say that all Mexicans are racist, but it's deeply ingrained, in that culture. I was talking with I was talking to this one Indian girl, and she freely admits, like she's a Muslim Indian, and although she wasn't born in India, she she's lived amongst Indians her entire life. Indian private school, only 30, like maybe 30 to 40 people in the school. I'm talking about just constantly in this homogenous environment of Indian Muslims. And she says Indians are viciously racist. And it's true. I mean, if you had to pick a country outside of America that is just and so pervasively racist. It's India. She told me about this thing called biodata, and I knew that there were arranged marriages in India, but I didn't know that it was this pervasive to the point where so it's they have these, basically these they're like resumes. They call it biodata. And basically what it is that it's for women, and the families will send these resumes to the families of a particular suitor, a young man. And what is included in the resume is her education, her her education, her parents' education, her uncle's education and work history, all of her uncles, parents, and her age and other things like that. But basically, it has nothing to do with who she is as a person. It's all about her prestige. I mean, the prestige of the family. But of course, the most important thing on that resume, the most important thing in an Indian woman's biodata is her color. She told me that no matter how pretty you are as a darker Indian, you will never be considered as beautiful as a light-skinned woman, as a light-skinned Indian. See, you could be a dark, gorgeous, just straight, beautiful, banging Indian. But if there's a lighter Indian who doesn't look as good as you, not even close, but she's light, it's better. And we all know how Indians, so that's just colorism and racism amongst Indians. We all know how they think about us as black people, and half of them are darker than us. So, oh, and I'm not even, Africans. I mess with Africa. I'm unapologetically African to a degree, And when I say that, I mean this. I mean that I'm not ashamed of my African heritage. I am a black man in America, quote unquote black. We're not really black. Um, we're brown. But although I will say that I'm unapologetically African, I do at times feel funny about saying that, because although I believe it to be true, if you ask a lot of Africans, now my experience with Africans is mostly Nigerians, some Ghanaians, so I don't want to basically paint all of the entire African continent, all of its tribes and villages and cultures with one brush. But from what I've seen, and I've spoken to one time a Nigerian girl who told me that her parents would never, ever allow her to date a black man. Ever. They would rather her date a white man than a black man. And of course, number one being a fellow Nigerian. So, I say all that to say I'm done. I'm not saying that I'm not going to speak out when it comes to the mistreatment and the bigotry that certain groups face. If it's brought up to me in a conversation, I'll speak my mind. But I'm for my people, that being, African Americans, quote unquote black people in the United States. That's who I'm defending. That's, I'm fighting on those front lines, because I don't have the energy nor the I don't have the energy nor the um, want to fight for these other groups that don't give a damn about me. Because most of these Indians don't give a damn about me and my black brothers and sisters. A lot of these Hispanics and Mexicans don't give a damn about me and my black brothers and sisters. A lot of these Asians, though you wouldn't admit it, because though they won't admit it, well, a lot of them tend to be real, but a lot of these Asians don't give a damn about me and my brothers and sisters, and a lot of these Arabs don't give a damn about me and my black brothers and sisters. And they'll try to act like, oh, that's my black brother, or they won't say that, but they'll be like, it's funny, man, because you'll be living in the hood and there'll be these Koreans, and I'm going to just speak on the Arabs now. And I don't want to mischaracterize them. I'm not saying they're not good people, and I'm not saying that they're not genuine. But it's funny how they're like, oh yeah, they're down with the cause. Oh yeah, and they got the slang and the movement and the swag and all that kinda. You know, you start thinking that they're down for the cause. This is another brother, but it's not. I mean, these dudes, they come to our communities, and we allow it to happen to a certain degree because we don't support our own black businesses. But they come to our communities, they get their money together, they buy these gas stations or they buy these other businesses, and of course, and I don't blame them for this. They don't contribute anything back to the community. So if they're so cool with you and they're our brothers and this and that and all that shit, why aren't they trying to give us a hand? And I'm not asking for, or why aren't they trying to help us? And I'm not asking for no handout because I don't need no damn handouts or a hand up from the motherfuckers. But all I'm telling you is, if you want to figure out who's for you, let's just follow the money, right? See, everybody wants black people to be the punching bag, you know. And once a brother speaks up, like Muhammad Ali or Colin Kaepernick, that's when their true colors come out. Oh, you're, um, we all know the racist lingo, the dog whistles. Oh, you're basically calling him a uppity Negro. Oh, you're seeking attention, right? So basically, hey nigger, you're making money. You didn't earn it or anything. You didn't work your ass off, tirelessly, you know, day in, day out, grinding and doing whatever it took to better your life and that of your families. We gave you this. So throw the football, shut up, and do your job. That's what they tell us once we step out of line in their eyes. See, for whatever reason, a lot of these immigrant groups, they'll immigrate here to America. And well, I know the reason. And they're already placed above us, in in a socioeconomic, sense. Already. So I'm no longer trying to defend and be the an ally and savior of all these other people's, all these other ethnic groups' causes. I'm for my people, right? Because I don't see too many. Um, I see more white people marching with Black Lives Matter than Hispanics and Africans and a lot of these other groups. That's not to say that that's not taking place, but just from my eye test, I don't see it as much. So I'm for my people, right? That's what I'm on. right now. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I don't agree with hardly anything she says, but she said some truth there. She did. She said stop. She said you're not black. Stop piggybacking off of our experience. That's true. Like Paul Mooney said, we were stolen from Africa and forced to work for free. You chose to come here, and then you chose to come here and work for very little, and then had the nerve to try and criticize us and be racist towards us. Well, I'm not having it. If you got a problem with that, you can complain, you can cry, you can bitch. I'm just gonna block you and delete your comment. Cause I really don't give a fuck. I'm out.